Spring is in the air, and that means it's blue bonnet season in Texas. But some people may be breaking the law to get that Instagram-worthy shot. We'll explain. And the gymnastics team at Earl Rudder High getting a big send-off today as the boys and girls team are headed for the state. Your Krhd News starts right now.
Connecting the Brazos Valley, this is KRHD News.
Thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Brittany DeFran. As we're still seeing blue bonnets and other Texas wildflowers across Texas plains, many people are taking the opportunity to snap their spring pictures in the grass. KRHD reporter Rebecca Fiedler has more on when the search for the perfect shot can become illegal.
Whenever you stop to take pictures in a field of blue bonnets, you may be thinking, what's the best angle for my photo? Well, law enforcement say that you should also be thinking, where have I parked and what could I be walking into? There are a few precautions some people neglect to take when stopping for bluebonnet pictures, particularly when it comes to respecting the integrity of private land. Donna Gandy's family have owned land in Independence for 5 generations now. Frequently in the spring, families will trespass onto her elderly mother's land where red blooms grow.
They just continue to trespass on the property. And they're not even asking. You know, they don't even come out to the house and ask if they can take pictures on the land.
Well, it's important to make sure that you're either on public land or that you have consent from a landowner to be there. State troopers also urge families to avoid parking on the edge of the road or in highway medians. The Department of Public Safety says it's important to ensure your vehicle is several feet away from the pavement, your hazard lights are on, and you're not directly against a major highway. Reporting from the Brazos Valley, Rebecca Fiedler, KRHD News.
The border drawing a closer focus. Governor Abbott says that a migrant surge is reaching crisis levels, while the White House says it's handling crossings in a humanitarian way. Here's ABC 13 Jacob Rascone at the border with an inside look.
Families are running to see if they can get on the bus. They are desperate to get out of this tent city. Look at how many hundreds of people, but they're told they can only get on the bus and go to the shelter where they live. 2,000 migrants who've been expelled after trying to cross the U.S.-Mexico border now live in this giant tent city in Reynosa, Mexico, all waiting for Title 42 to be dropped so that they can again attempt to cross and ask for asylum. They come from Central America, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, but also Haiti, Brazil, Venezuela, and beyond. A record number of migrants are crossing the border, and now Border Patrol and other agents are preparing for a huge increase once Title 42 is dropped just next month.
Governor Greg Abbott is considering a new destination for migrants who are being voluntarily driven on a bus from the Texas-Mexico border to Washington, D.C. So far, at least 7 buses filled with migrants have arrived in the nation's capital, but the Houston Chronicle reports Abbott is considering taking them to President Biden's home state of Delaware. The White House calling the governor's busing policy a publicity stunt. Fort Hood troops with the 1st Cavalry Division have spent the last few weeks giving it all they got at the Army's National Training Center in California. And the troops with the 8th Engineer Battalion are proving their worth on the battlefield. The vast desert at the National Training Center are giving engineers a chance to showcase their capabilities, battle simulations, test their ability to create and breach obstacles, allowing other troops to reach or direct the enemy. The size of the training center gives these engineers a chance to maneuver on a massive scale.
It's just out open desert, so we're able to see the movement formations across the desert and practice those, move a lot quicker than we normally can at Fort Hood.
The engineers are just part of the 4500 1st Cavalry troops testing their mettle on the battlefield of NTC. The Rudder High School boys and girls gymnastics team left for their state finals this morning, but not before receiving well wishes from Ranger Nation. Rudder High School students and faculty held a send-off parade for the boys and girls gymnastics team. They headed out for Rockwall High School to compete in the state finals. The teams each took second place in the Region 2 championship held in late March.
I just remember how good of our team is and how a strong family we are, and we've all come so far, and it's just so memorable that we get to go to state. We get to go to state together and with these grateful people.
As for their coaching staff, they're excited to be heading to the state finals after all the ups and downs during the gymnastics season.
We have our trials and tribulations and had our rough patches, but after having one of our best meets of the season at our regional meet, and we've had 3 weeks to work on fine-tune the details going into state, these kids are primed and ready to go.
The state finals will run from April 21st to April 23rd, and the Rangers are one of 12 schools competing in the team and individual state finals. And Education First Foreign Exchange is a program that gives students from European countries the opportunity to study in America, with opportunities right here in the Brazos Valley. Students will enroll in school here to experience the American culture and get the experience to have another family away from home.
This high school exchange program is to just be able to share the cultures, to spread, goodwill around the world. And it happens one student at a time. They go home with wonderful feelings about their year here. They go home with a family that they have basically for life.
If you are interested in being a host family, the search is on for families in Central Texas who would like to sponsor a child from 14 to 18 years of age. Coming up at 6, we'll hear from a local family opening their home to students from abroad, with more on the program.
Inflation is stressing us out. You probably can relate to this. New research shows almost half of American workers are financially stressed. 20% regularly run out of money between paychecks.
We mentioned inflation. So in general, people are having to spend more to get the same stuff. Another reason is, although wages are going up, for many people, they've got less money coming in because government programs, COVID relief time programs have kind of come to an end. Added to that, the fact that so many people, 68% from our survey, don't have money set aside, saved for emergencies.
A growing number of people are making risky financial choices. The number of people using payday loans has tripled just in the last 12 months. 18% of Americans used an online installment loan. That offers a lower interest rate and a longer term than a payday loan. It can still cost you hundreds of extra dollars in interest or late fees.
The financial stress exists among all income levels, pretty much all income levels. So there are things that we need to do better. We need to borrow more smartly. We need to borrow in a way at lower interest rates that doesn't mean that most of our money is going to interest costs. We need to save better. We need to be more disciplined at having emergency savings and putting money in them.
More than a quarter of U.S. companies offer a loan program in worker benefits packages. Now, those loans are paid out of future paychecks and have lower interest rates than riskier options like payday loans. Other companies offer emergency savings accounts. Those take a small portion of each paycheck until you need it for an emergency. You can set up a similar system yourself using direct deposit and a second bank account.
Mosquito bites are not pleasant.
And it takes and it wiggles that mouth part through the threads in your clothing.
And sometimes even a shirt can't prevent them from getting to you.
They can bite through animal fur, they can bite through your clothing.
But at this lab, Michael Rowe and his team are developing something to change that, using mosquitoes they raise in-house.
We'll be able to develop a series of parameters that every textile has. And by having the right combination of those parameters, you can prevent a mosquito from biting through that textile.
That is chemical-free lightweight fabric that's mosquito-proof, and it's gone through many tests.
There are different tiers of testing. The first tier is an in vitro system that we've developed.
In this small cage full of mosquitoes away from humans.
If it's successful in preventing mosquito bites, then we go to what we call tier 2, which is where we put the cloth around a subject's arm.
The third test is covering a person with the garments and putting them in a cage full of mosquitoes. So far, it's looking promising. They're hoping to make full garments and do even more testing.
From that, we can make a decision whether we have a garment that's bite-proof.
Why the focus on such a small insect? It could be life-saving.
It transmits disease and has caused more death than any other animal on the planet.
Rich Cohen runs a pest control service.
Mosquito season typically starts in early spring when the mosquitoes become active through middle to the latter part of fall.
The CDC calls mosquitoes the world's deadliest animal because they transmit diseases like malaria and viruses like Zika. For example, in 2017, 435,000 people died from malaria. Millions become ill each year. The team behind this new mosquito-proof material hopes this is just one more solution to help curb those numbers.
I'd like to have something out on the market soon. However, we need a manufacturing partner to make the textile.
Mark Self is in charge of commercializing the invention, which has been stalled due to COVID.
We feel like we have a unique way to market in that we've got an organic, chemical-free story to tell. Our aspiration is to be an ingredient brand for name an outdoor apparel manufacturer.
Why not buy clothing that's bite-proof? If you're going to buy a jogging outfit or something to wear to the park, it can look like everyday clothing.
And it's not just for clothing. Through this process, they have found that these tools can be used beyond what you find in a department store.
There's been a lot of unexpected outcomes from this. For example, an egg textile that prevents insects when it's covering a plant from getting to the plant and eating the plant.
I'm Chloe Nordquist.
Taking a look at our Clark roofing cam here, it looks like that we've had partly to mostly cloudy skies throughout the day today. It's been a little breezy from time to time as well, but not much in the way of precipitation with this. Tonight we may see a little bit of drizzle, but other than that, I really don't think we're going to see a lot of rain over the next couple of days. We do have the clouds around though, and that just will continue here over the next 24 hours or so, maybe drying out the atmosphere a little bit as this little storm system continues to ride off toward the east. So mid and high level clouds will decrease a bit over the next 48 hours. But other than that, things are pretty quiet around here. And in our future track, again, it is showing the potential of some drizzle as we head toward Thursday morning. This is showing showers, but I really think that's overdone. This model has a problem during the morning hours when there's a lot of moisture around to show actual shower activity. So again, some drizzle, maybe an isolated shower. That's going to be about it. Then as we head into the afternoon, partly cloudy skies, and we will see those temperatures climb up into the 80s. And same can be said for Friday. Maybe some drizzle in the morning. By the afternoon, partly cloudy skies, and it will be warm and still pretty breezy here across the area over the next couple of afternoons. So tonight, temperatures will make their way down into the upper 60s and lower 70s. Then tomorrow, highs will make it into the 80s, so a warm and windy day across the area. And looking at your forecast, temperatures right around 88 degrees Thursday and Friday. Again, very slight chance of a shower early Thursday morning. And the wind will probably continue into the weekend, at least in the 10 to 20 mile per hour range. 87 on Sunday, maybe a couple of thunderstorms late in the day, but I think our best chances will be Sunday night going into Monday as a cold front moves in.
Oh, of all the things that seem to cost more money these days, construction costs continue to be high, and that has some people getting creative when it comes to a custom home. Let's go to Elizabeth Ruiz, who shows us the new type of home that is really increasing in popularity.
There's a growing trend in rural America. People are building barn-dominiums, and it's exactly what it sounds like, barn mixed with condominium. And the idea is that you're building a customized open concept house, and the trend is likely here to stay.
At Worldwide Steel Buildings in Peculiar, Missouri, steel structure kits are put together and shipped out from coast to coast.
So this is our manufacturing facility. We produce around 30 to 35,000 pounds of steel a day.
Wow, there's a lot going on in here.
Jeff Snell is the CEO who bought the company in 2016.
Since 2016, our business has grown 300%, and over half of our sales are now barndominiums.
According to Barndominium Life, an online resource that teaches people about building barndominiums, the popularity of this style of home can be attributed to Chip and Joanna Gaines, who coined the word on their show Fixer Upper.
It's not just a cookie cutter home that you put in a subdivision. It's a lifestyle choice to be out in the country and live in a barndominium.
I hadn't heard of it until my sister Victoria told me she was thinking of building one.
How did you first hear about barndominiums? I think we just started researching like ways to make a custom home that would be more affordable, because like construction costs are very high right now. Lumber costs are really high right now. And so we were like, we're just gonna have to get creative.
Interested in starting her own horse therapy practice, Victoria says the barndominium style would be very ideal. Snell says barndos are a favorite among people with outdoor lifestyles.
We see people finish off, a third of their building and then have the remaining of the building for all their toys, boats, RVs, four-wheelers, golf cart.
With vaulted ceilings and an open concept, Jeff says the inside of a barndo is a blank canvas.
Walking this way, this is going to be our pantry.
Morgan Ropke and her husband are building a barndominium near Springfield, Missouri.
It is a 2,800 square foot home with an 800 square foot garage. We started building in August and we hope to finish in the next month or so.
Morgan says she and her husband were attracted to the open concept and rural aesthetic of a barndominium.
We want to have our friends and family over, we want to do cookouts and we want to do bonfires and we want to have parties here.
She says they really value time with family.
My mom and dad's house will be right there where you see the construction happening.
Oh my gosh.
So they literally could be like, maybe,
Oh.
So.
How sweet.
Yeah.
Morgan says she has spent years researching barndominiums to become a self-contractor. She also remodeled their last house. But she wants people to know anyone can build a barndo if they have the knowledge and motivation. That's why she now offers a course to other people who want to be a DIY home builder.
I do think that because it made it easier for us to self-contract, that made us a lot of money. If we had gone the traditional route and been forced to use a general contractor, then it would have been far more expensive, probably 30% more expensive.
Some barndominiums are all wood, others all steel, and Morgan's is a hybrid between the two. Jeff says demand for these types of homes is growing, and he thinks that demand will continue.
We see our customers, younger couples first starting out for their starter homes using steel buildings, but we see a lot of retirement couples too. They want to retire to the country on 10 or 15 acres.
Morgan says she, her husband, and her 4 kids are super happy with how their barndominium has turned out. She even let her little girls paint their own rooms.
This is our house. We built this house so hands-on, and it is us.
I'm Elizabeth Ruiz reporting.
Laws to keep animals safe have not always been in place. A new project is showing just how hard the fight has been.
This will be really valuable to scholars and researchers because for the first time, we have all of this material in one place to provide a full picture of what animal welfare was like back in the 1866, in the late 1800s.
North Carolina State University Libraries and the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals digitally archived 150,000 pages of materials that go all the way back to 1866. These are the images they gave us. Some of these documents include the first federal law against animal cruelty. There are also illustrations of what you're looking at here, the first takedown of a notorious dogfighting leader.
When the ASPCA was founded, one of the things Henry Bergh was dedicated to was stopping animal fighting and dog fighting. And it was very prevalent then. And the shocking thing is that it still occurs now. We're still fighting animal fights and cockfights around the country, which are happening in places that you really wouldn't expect and with participants that you wouldn't expect.
You can find the digital archive on North Carolina State University Library's website.
World News Tonight is just ahead, and we're back in 30 minutes for KRHD News at 6. Until then, have